Hello. Um, I don't know what I'm going to do with this. This is sort of a proof of concept for myself to practice this idea. So, anybody who's known me has known I've wanted to make a podcast for a long time. I think the idea is interesting, and I think the format of expressing your ideas in spoken form, just audio, is fun and all right to listen to, especially for other people. Um, the problem is normally all of my ideas are fairly non-starters. This is pretty common for me just over the course of anything. I've had lots of ideas over the course of almost 30 years now that don't come to any sort of fruition, either through personal work or inability and no training or reaching out for that training. And that's my own fault. But a lot of this past year, I have been acting on a new sort of operation module. That's not what humans do. Uh, I've been just doing things, and when I mess it up, keep doing them. Uh, and so far, it's been fairly successful. Obviously, there's things that are not truly measures of that, but who knows? Let's just do it. So, this is my idea for a podcast about things that don't start or things that fail before they can even truly get started. This is something that I've been calling episode one in my head, and I've been thinking of episode one of a lot of things for a lot of time. But everybody has, so I'm just looking at old documents here for ideas and stuff. Um, I think most, I guess, pressing on my mind are I play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons. Like a lot of Dungeons and Dragons. I play with my friends a lot, and right now I'm planning a Dungeons and Dragons stream show idea that I'm gonna produce with some of my friends to present to an audience. And this is something I've wanted to do for a long time through actual plays and stuff, but never gotten the chance. But I have a lot of Dungeons and Dragons tabletop game settings and systems and ideas for classes and stuff that don't fit anywhere or haven't been compiled into one thing. Um, and I a big part of a lot of the things I don't actually end up doing is I end up invariably spreading myself too thin and trying too many things and never focusing on one and getting good at it, which is a real huge issue for me. I love doing lots of things. I think everything I see is cool, and then when I try to do it, I see something else I think is cool, and I also try to do that at the same time. And this has led to just in general, in creative works, failure after not or just nothing, which I want to stop in every other case of my life. Also, in speaking honestly, in my life, um, this behavior also exhibited itself throughout like school and stuff. I would always do well in school, but I would then oh, I want to try this new thing out and then go this way. And I eventually did get a degree, and I'm going for another one now. But uh, because of my inability to pick one thing, I I never focused on anything and really cultivated a skill that I feel is adequate in my own brain for whatever reason. Um, but more specifically, like on that topic, um, I have very recently been able to associate myself with a lot of talented people. Um, uh, One of my friends, B, is a fantastic artist. Another of my friends, Public PO, is a really good artist as well. And both of them, I see their art and I go, wow, that is something I'd like to do. And I've been practicing art more recently, and I think I've gotten better. But I'm not where I want to be, and it's a little petty, it's a little competitive, but I kind of want to produce stuff that they can, and it's it's an unfair measure to give myself for someone who has put in time and effort to a thing I've just not yet. So there is something to be said about that 10,000 hours thing. Uh, I haven't put in 10,000 hours. Maybe I put in 400 or something, but um, if even that, but uh, like but that's just on the art side of things. Another one of my friends, it's called Thyle, is a composer who self-taught a lot of music stuff, and I started making music a little bit ago, about 2 years ago. One for another one of my friends' birthdays, and I am nowhere near where I want to be, but people say they like things I make, but I'm still comparing myself to somebody else, and comparison is the theft of joy. It is a thing I just see constantly in life. As I watch this audio position tracker go, I am realizing that I this idea that I have for this episode 1 about stuff that isn't complete. A lot of the stuff that isn't complete because I I want it to be better than I can produce, and I can't get there without just doing it, which is why I adopted this new policy. Um, okay. Back to my original topic. Boy, this is going to be rambly, and I'm very sorry for anybody who listens. I watched another one of my friends. He goes by Dice. Create a game design document for a tabletop game. He just entirely came out of his own brain. Pulled in pieces from other things we've played and stuff like that. But it is incredibly impressive to see, and it is, no lie, one of the most fun things I've ever played. And if it ever does reach a point where he wants to release it, I would wholeheartedly want other people to play it. But I don't have a brain like that. I can't make balanced things, I guess. I I I think I can be creative, but I also think I do not have just the intelligence for some form of the creative process that I hit snags on. I Same thing with art or whatever. I think, and this might just be me looking for an excuse, but I think normally when I reach a point in an idea where I go, well, I can't feasibly do that, and that's where things start to peter out. So this year, to combat that, I've started making smaller goals, but most importantly, I started just doing something, and I started most of that with streaming. I've been streaming a lot of video games recently with friends, and I am happy to steal ideas from other friends who are better than me at it, because all of my friends who stream are better than me at it. Trust me. Um, like I stole my friend Shakes. I stole her like group idea, and I picked a very specific number of people. I am formatting in a very specific way to emulate her, because her idea is very good, and having a cast that people connect with, I think really fits for that sort of medium. It's personality based primarily. I've adopted mannerisms and just decisions that another streamer has started making throughout their streams, and it's obviously it's painfully obvious to anybody watching, I bet, who watches both of our stuff. But it seems like a good idea, so why wouldn't I do it? I just said I can be creative, and all of the streaming stuff has been stolen, but I have made my own assets. I've produced some music for my own stream, and I tried to come up with original ideas in my own head. Uh, I'm sure they're derivative of something, but there is tons of derivative things all over the place, I guess. But the point is, I am just doing something to keep doing it. Um, in this little trip through streaming, I have sort of discovered a couple of things. I have discovered my lack of organization, but my varied skill set has lended itself to being capable of making up for a lot of what I would normally lack. So, I may not be a super talented artist, but I can come up with an idea that will be easier to convey for me that I think is effective. Um, could I improve past that? Probably, but it will take years. Uh, I may not be the best video editor. I may not be the best like on-screen personality, but I can make up for that with putting the right people around me or choosing the right way to present information to people through my editing, which I've done through my YouTube channel. Uh, I don't, I'm, as I sit here and I say these words, I'm considering this a worse and worse idea, but I just keep going, I guess. Um, we can switch tracks a little bit. So, the whole reason I wanted to do this episode one thing was to compile and catalog failed ideas. And I haven't talked about many besides the things I'm going to do. So, failed ideas. Um, and possibly hear my friends' failed ideas as motivation, and my own too, as motivation to like do some of the things. Maybe bring some old ideas back. I think that'd be fun. But failed ideas. A while back, I came up with a D&D story or a tabletop story. Uh, it was a superhero based world where your heroes would very much like Teen Titans, because that's where I drawn inspiration from, would come together disparately and fight crime. With my twist being they are Civil War style contracted out to the city, and the city, you know, controls all superheroing, and the our heroes would eventually buck the system and stop a dangerous villain who is selling people superpowers, and selling superpowered people greater versions of those superpowers from like the big like control headquarters special stores. Um, this is all surface level, so like if I ever do actually get back to go to this, that get to go back to this, then I'll be able to, and that'll be fun. Uh, but I know that that never went anywhere because of scheduling. Same thing with another idea. I had a Kingdom Hearts idea for um, uh, me and my friends, where we would play through a different system maybe every time or something. I didn't tell them that, but it had a really dumb name. It was Kingdom Hearts Lessons Learned Last, because the story beat is the Keyblade Master betrays her students, and they have to travel through the worlds to find her. And I love that setup. And the villain was essentially not interested in their story, and so the villain is ancillary, which is interesting. I've never seen a villain not matter to the hero, like in aside from like Fifth Element, and even then they're still at odds. I wanted the heroes and the villains to essentially never really need to cross paths unless they wanted to. Obviously, there'd be connections, but you again no need. Um, but those are the two big ones that I think never really got off the ground more than I wanted. And I think it was just scheduling, which happens, you know. There were one shots at first, but I grew to love the world and the idea so much that I wanted to expand and go on. Um, I understand that some people may not be interested in it, which is why there's not a lot of people kicking down the door to say, "Hey, Wordsy, let's play that superhero game again." But I kind of want to bring the idea back in some shape or form, maybe as like a one shot for new friends or something like that, um, or extended campaign for new friends. It doesn't have to be the original players, I guess. I need to get off the idea that I need to do things a specific way, um, because it causes me to stall and not do stuff. I think pulling those stories out to maybe a new audience would be interesting. Um, Other ideas. Oh, I attempted to make a D&D system like my friend Dice, but I failed horribly because I did not think beyond the classes. Um, I wrote up a little document, and I can probably link these, but I wrote up a little document that was like, all right, so I want my system to be about modulation. So you can you get a base ability and then you can modify it twice with your like sub abilities that change how your base ability functions. But I just kept thinking about the abilities and not about the mechanics, because tabletop games require mechanics for just about everything. You need movement, you need money, you need interaction, you need damage, you need like all of that stuff. I had pushed to the wayside for, oh, wouldn't it be cool if this interacted with this way? And I've modified that to be sort of a video game idea more recently. But it's an idea I don't want to drop. This is an idea that didn't go anywhere because I did not take the time to consider all the facets of it. I sort of fell apart without proper foundation, which is really important. I'm learning more and more as time goes on. I probably should have learned that way longer ago, right? uh, Beyond that, other failed things. Music. I have failed a lot in music just due to my lack of fundamental know-how. I do a lot of music by ear. I just kind of hear things in other music that I think that sounds good and it would probably sound good with this. I do my best to recreate it or I sample it and then I mash them together and it usually sounds pretty okay. Um, a lot of the best music I've ever actually produced is just mashups of two or three different things that sound pretty okay once mixed down or something. Um, they were a lot of times they were made with like free instruments and stuff and trial things that I don't have access to anymore. So a lot of my more recent music is very boop beep boop like chiptune because it's simulated instruments in a digital audio workstation. Um, things like that. I want to get better at stuff like that, which is why I was so excited to do a little like thing with my friend Thiel that we never actually got off the ground just from audio things, and it might have been revamped into sort of a Twitch stream thing, which is also interesting to watch. Um, if I suppose I should probably link all the people I'm mentioning in this if they want to be, and I'll keep names secret or whatever. This is not important. The important part is uh, this idea that I was a part of at first didn't get off the ground because of whatever reason, and I still want to learn about it and from it to increase my musical knowledge. But I also, while doing it, my lack of musical knowledge really hindered it. I think another going back to my like general lack of deeper knowledge of things. I have a knowledge of many things, but I have a very low, shallow knowledge of those many things. Like I said, one of my friends, she's an editor, and she is good at editing. She's fantastic. I'm an editor. I can edit a video. I know how to cut and do things in various programs, but I'm not good at editing. There's some techniques I don't know. There's some things I am shaky on. Music, I make music, but I'm not good at music. Art, I make art, but I'm not good at art. I am close, I think, but I'm to all of these things, but I'm not where I want to be. Um, I always say I feel like I'm always shooting for third place, and that's me rewording. There's always going to be somebody better than you. Um, and it's another, again, it's a petty thing, but I I think I do better with competition. I guess I don't know. It drives me to work harder. Uh, mm, I feel like I feel like I don't want to edit this. I don't want to cut off audio and stuff and sample and clear out this room noise and stuff like that. But I'm probably gonna. I'm a weak-willed baby. Uh, I I'm going to record more of these, and they're going to probably be me talking to myself or my friends about uh, ideas we've had and haven't gone anywhere, or an idea that we've had and maybe we want it to be looked at with fresh eyes and critiqued. I think critique is really important to this. I want, if I bring people on, I want, if we share ideas, to hear honest and harsh, hopefully, critique of ideas and techniques and stuff that we could use to improve. Um, because primarily, I believe I am a storyteller through voice acting, through D&D, through music, or art, and I think I want to be able to tell those stories, but I want to tell them more effectively. I want to be better at it. I don't want to just be a like, if I'm being honest, I don't want to be mediocre. I want to make something that will make something of what I've made. I don't care if I'm famous or whatever, but I want to show people stuff, and I want to, I guess, show them a story. I want to tell people stories. I find it the most fulfilling thing in life is to tell people a story. Um, I think the easiest way I have to do that right now is through D&D, because my writing, I think, is of everything that I do the strongest. And that maybe, but no, that's enough. Yeah, that's plenty. Um, so I think I am going to call this episode one, um, forever. This is episode 0 or 1 of episode 1. This is going to be confusing for a little bit. Uh, and at the very end of this, I'm going to explain myself. I chose episode 1 because episode 1 is what I never reach. I never get to the point where episode 1 happens. Until very recently, I've started doing that. And I think it will be good for me to hear and understand that episode 1 is going to happen for a lot of things. And for the things that didn't happen for, they can still happen. I just need to remember them. I need to focus. I need to do what I need to do to make my dreams come true, as sappy as that sounds. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna hit that button and stop the. Ooh boy, Wordsy, you can do it.